All right, welcome to another edition of Pirate Life Podcast. I just want to go ahead and get some stuff out of the way right now and mention some sponsors that are really near and dear to my life and pocketbook, and that is CavemanCoffee.com, and you can find all your best caveman needs there. We got a brand new concentrate that's like a 3-to-1 concentrate that comes out with our fantastic single estate coffee. It's like an 18-hour brewing process. There's no acidity in it. And it's really next level. It's fantastic. One guy I know drinks it straight, but he is a crazy person. It's like gasoline straight. You got to mix it with a little bit of water, and it goes a long way. But Nate Harris is at Nate Tronovich. Man, that dude, he'll drink it straight with MCT oil, which is just so burly, and he'll drink a whole glass of it. Anyway, I digress. We also got our brand new MCT, completely 100% coconut oil sourced, which is super friendly to the environment and apes, and in the most sustainable fashion that you can source MCT. Next thing I want to talk about is Concrete Cowboy, which is one of my nightclubs I'm a partner in, and we are just opening tonight in Austin. We've got our first grand opening happening there. We've been open at Concrete Cowboy Dallas for about 3 years, and we're just opening our next location. Super stoked about that. And right now, and then also Undisputed Fitness in Santa Fe, New Mexico for all your fitness needs. And Deuce Gym on Lincoln in Venice is also one of my wonderful joints that helps sponsor me and this fantastic podcast, and also is the home of Gig'em Lindsay and at Functional Coach that are there for all your fitness needs. They're down there slinging abs and biceps all day long, so if you need any of that shit, they have it in stock. They've got a huge Christmas sale going on abs right now if you need to get some, and you can go ahead and find those there at Undisputed Fitness also. And and they got that thickness down there too, that thicky thick as they call it. So all those places, and then Haya Yoga in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Also, they've got Jardine down there teaching with casts and all kinds of crazy shit. I don't know what goes on really. She's like a superhero, that woman. If you want to see her, she's on my Instagram recently and knocking a girl in the face. That consequently, also that girl tried to get sponsorship from Caveman Coffee, which we'd love to sponsor who we can, but we really only sponsor people that we know and love and all that. And then she kind of was misrepresented by her manager, which managers are prone to do. And
we'll have to get Jody in here and talk about that here in a bit.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here with it's a rarity that Caveman Coffee is all together. Caveman Coffee is myself, Lacie, Mackey, and Keith Jardine, and we're all here in Austin together. We've got a couple of our teammates that are, I say teammates, they're just old friends at this point. Cub Swanson, Isaac Valley Flag, Little Benavidez is also fighting. He's a really great guy, and there's some really good UFC fights this weekend in Austin, and so we're here for all that. And then Onyx doing a grand opening of their gym, and so anyways, lots going on, and I just wanted to. We're sitting here in the hotel, and I wanted to go ahead and
this is a pretty special podcast. I think it's really just Lacey's been out of the country for basically a summer.
Year.
Yeah.
So Lacey's back.
If you guys don't know really, Lacie too. Lacie goes on and off work, and she works for a secret agent, so it's really hard for her to talk about her job. I don't know. She'd probably be pissed if.
Can we do it?
It's not something. I can't say.
It can be top secret.
You got to really talk into it if you want to be.
We can be pretty top secret about it, I think. But yeah, it's a secret agent job. I can't name any names or any locations, but I do go away to train some people to do some pretty amazing stunts every other month.
She's basically like the top level trainer for the top level action star in the world, and sets up all the stunts and safeties. As far as getting their mobility and getting their right musculature fired and all that, so that they can take the brunt and perform the best way possible. And so she travels all over, no shit, like I think 7 continents in a week one time doing a press tour, like all over as this. She's a high level fitness trainer, ex CrossFit Games athlete, and regular superhero in general.
And yeah, and Tait the superhero's been being a superhero in Colombia for the past I don't know what, a month. So anyway, so we were just all sitting here, right, just talking.
Yeah, why not? Let's record this.
And Tait being Tait who is, well, let's plug in the podcast thing.
I think the quote was, Keith, shut up. Keith, hold on, and just stop talking. And then you plugged everything in, and now here we are.
Yeah, that was because you were just about to tell a story about another one of our buddies.
Oh yeah, okay.
Let's hear that story.
Let's make this story short. My buddy Clint is a fighter, Clint Roberts, and Tait and I, we do a lot of stunts, we do a lot of acting, and we got our boy Clint and do this little stunt job. And his first one ever, like, never done stunts before, never been on a movie set before, so he goes and does a stunt, and he's jumping on a four-wheeler. They got him on a four-wheeler, the belly run. He's jumping over a thing and then crisscross. Somebody else jumping on a four-wheeler. First time he's ever on a movie. Cool, right? So now he doubles another, and he got another opportunity. He just did something for Condemned 2 where he's doing something. I was about to tell Tait about this because I'm proud of this guy. This guy's like, he's cowboy as fuck. That's this guy. Like, he's jump a dirt bike. Hell yeah, I'll do that. Oh, you gonna pay me that? I'll jump out of a car. I don't care. And that's Clint, and that's what this was. He was. I told him to go show up for an interview with this guy because all I gotta do is talk to him, cowboy, and cowboy Clint, and he's gonna love you. And so he talked to him, and he loved him, and he had him on set. And now he's doubling the lead actor on this movie. This is only his third set he's ever been on. He's doubling this lead actor, and here's the gag. They're going in a car. They're going 50 miles an hour. They hit a turn at 90 degrees, and he's got to fall out of the car.
Holy cow!
Yeah. And so Dickie goes to Clint, and Clint BS is like everybody would, like he would.
This is Dickie Beers?
Yeah. He's all, hey Clint, so have you ever done this before? Oh hell yeah, whatever, hell yeah. So okay, so all right, let's just do it then. So he gets in the car, 50 miles an hour, hit the e-brake, turn 90 degrees, jumps out of the car, not just out of the car, and rolls down a ditch.
Jesus.
What, fourth time on a movie? I'm really proud of this dude, man. And I'm telling Clint, man, he's like,
I love him too because he's like that first thing where they're like, well, how are you on a four-wheeler? He's like, I'm okay or whatever, and then he sees what's done. He's like, I can do that, and it's like jumping a 30-foot ditch or something like 20 feet off the ground. Like, he's wicked.
You want to hear some stuff? His Allie's a yoga teacher at my place. His girl just told me, and Clint never told me. He's pretty humble and all that. He's like, well, they asked me if I jumped a four-wheeler. I'd never been on a four-wheeler before, but I jumped dirt bikes. I figured how different could it be?
Awesome. Yeah, he's wicked, man. That's great.
But the stress of doing that on a stunt show, because like if you mess up, like your career's done.
Yeah.
Like if you lie and get caught or whatever, you get messed up. And there's so much money behind every shot, and if you wreck or hurt, and like he's got the lead actors right there that's involved in the scene. What if he hits them off? There's so much stress.
He's one of those guys too. Like, there's a lot of dudes in the world that don't get it, that are like kind of fucking douchey dudes. Like, they don't care, they don't see past themselves really. They just don't know any better, And Clint's such a guy that, like, he knows that, like, that it colors other people. That, like, your name, like, well, Keith's name's on me. Like, that's that means something, and it means something to him, And so, like, I don't know, and I trust him enough where I'm like, I know he'll be great. He's one of those guys where you're like, I don't care what happens or anything like that. Like, I know that I can count on him to act right, to be respectful and courteous. And that's so cool. He's one of those guys that you're so excited about doing well. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to see him. That's great, man. It's cool that you got to hear all the great stuff through Allie too.
Yeah. So what was your character? I don't even know about
Oh, in Colombia?
Yeah.
So I go there and I meet a guy at 8711. I gotta say, 8711 too. I think they're 8711 Action Experts. Action Design. It's 8711 Action Design.
John Wick, right?
On Instagram. Chad and Dave Leach and Chad Stahelski are the guys that ran that. Directed. They were first time directors. on a huge Keanu Reeves movie on John Wick, and
You mean it was a Tait and Keith movie? We were the
it
stars of
was
that
basically
one.
they directed Tait Fletcher, Keith Jardine on in John Wick, and
Keanu Reeves happened to be on it.
and Keanu had a guest spot ish. So I don't know exactly. I don't know how that works. Anyway, some Hollywood thing, but and then we got on our good friend and benefactor Darren ran that show, and a lot of guys, man. JJ was like, there's a lot of dudes that were real helpful, and what a real privilege to be on the show. But they anyways, I forgot where I was, but okay,
8711.
you're talking 8711. So anyway, one of the guys from 8711 hits me up last month and a half ago and was like, hey, I got a thing that if you can do and go to Columbia for and da 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 da. And I go, rad. I'll do it. I'll come down. And so we went down and we trained for a while, and I got to work with these really talented like kick tricker athletes. Like, and one dude, this guy Marco Zerrar, he was, I don't know, maybe 200 pounds, but he like full front gainers and backflips with a twist and like really badass acrobatic martial arts. And he grew up in Chile, in Santiago, Chile, and his mom was a black belt, and that's who inspired him, was his mom, which is so cool. And you can find Marco at Marco Zerrar, MarkoZaror. He's got a movie out called Redemption right now that just went through Austin Film Festival here, whatever their film festival name is, and should be out soon. But he's a really, really great guy, and so that was kind of the star of it, and it was called Zambo Dende. And so my character was Blade, and he had a big beard with 4 braids in it, and 2 big war axes is what I got to do.
And you guys got to check out Tait's Instagram, man. These pictures are sick, man.
Oh, you've been looking at my Instagram.
Ooh,
This is kind of
Tate's
new for
stalking
me.
it.
Keith isn't very.
I follow like 4 people. I follow my Instagram. And I thought, oh, what's Tait doing today?
It's so cool. Instagram's so cool in that way. Like all that social media. Somebody was saying last night that it's like I get to have a relationship with you, and we never really talk, but I know what's up in your life, and like I don't know. I'm pretty kind of forthcoming. I kind of write my thoughts and shit sometimes on Instagram, maybe good or bad, but like. You get to see people, man, and it's a cool
Lacie.
time to be alive. Yeah.
Lacie, the world traveler. Jody's. Lacey's in Morocco today. You got to see her with this and
It's
riding
cool. I have
camels.
to like really edit it a lot and not post what I really want to post, but it's fun to see out that way. Or if I post something from like a while back that I think it's okay to post now because we're not there and it's no longer top secret. And then my mom's like, "Are you in Germany today? I just saw that you posted." And I have to explain to her.
That's
like,
the funniest thing because her mom thinks that it's a private message when she writes on
she
Instagram.
doesn't realize that TB what Throwback Thursday means. So I'm like, "Mom, please Google TBT," and she still doesn't get it.
So that's kind of what's amazing here right now. We're all together. We're basically in a year anniversary of Caveman Coffee.
Yeah. A year ago today, this weekend, we were in LA getting ready to do an event at Brick for what's the name of the E-Team Classic, and we didn't even have our own tent. We had to borrow Logan's original nutritional, so we had a fish oil tent that we were under, and I think we even forgot a blender. Jody had to go buy a blender last minute, and there we were doing that event, and now here we are flying in from various areas of the world to
meet up and do Onnit's grand opening.
Do some cool
we're
stuff,
making
yeah,
Onnit's
partners.
coffee, and for anybody that doesn't know who Onnit is, that they're like the best
You're
company
living under a
online
rock.
to get supplements and stuff to improve and enhance your life. It's not like meathead, protein and creatine. It's all real cool stuff.
Real natural stuff that really works. And
Yeah,
they
did I
have
say that right?
a special roast from us, which is pretty exciting that in a year we are here doing this.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Tait,
badass.
take us out of the pause. Tait, take us out of the pause.
Awkward silence.
It's cool. I don't know, we just did what was the name of the radio show, the Sirius radio show, the Todd Shapiro show, right? And
Gave me goosebumps, Tait.
and it's interesting, man. Like talking about where all that goes, and he asked about like this podcast and how all that is, and it's like it's cool in a way. Like I really want to do podcasts with people that it marks your history, much the way like Instagram does, or like like a photo album in old days. Like my mom would take photos like Polaroids and put them all in a photo album, and I was like, I always looked at that as like homework in a way or something like, but like it's so easy now to do that. And when you look back, I remember Eddie Bravo was telling me he just went and he hit whatever that is that flips through all your photos on iPhoto or whatever, and he had music playing to it, and he's like, dude, it's like you're looking at a soundtrack of your life as all the pictures flip for the last year of all my last imports, and he's like, and it's really cool. Like I just, my appreciation for life and all that's happened since then and all those experiences, it's like real in all those moments, and like how. When people talk about you make your own reality and this and that, in a lot of ways that sounds like some ethereal bullshit that's like some kind of hippie thing or something, or like I don't have the time to meditate to get me to that place. But like in those moments where you're picking the activities that you're doing and what you're imprinting in your mind, like you have that power to be like whatever that is at that moment. You know what I mean? And it's like a lot of it's what I choose to input, I think, and that's the cool thing I think about like all this is that like. I don't know why I always think back, like the first podcast I think I did, it might have been with Cub Swanson and Isaac and maybe Clay was there.
Both fighting tomorrow.
Yeah, right? And so, and that, I don't know, it's cool. Like, but the one I always think about with Greg Jackson. And I think, I drove down to Albuquerque from Santa Fe to go and meet him at his new gym and to have a conversation with him. And it was an awesome conversation. He's a genius, man. That dude is something else, and not just that he's super smart and I admire that. That's like, you could say that about a ton of different people, but like also the way that he's impacted my life, and I know a lot of people's lives, like countless dudes' lives, in such a positive way that it's really super duper remarkable, man. It's like he's as much as a NASA scientist or anybody else impacts the world, like in very powerful, influential men in the world. He's impacted their lives, and like I got to go and sit and have a conversation that I never would have had with him, and it's marked now for history forever, and that's wicked to me. Like that's fucking awesome. Like I'm so grateful and proud.
I'm ashamed to say I've never heard that. That's recorded.
Yeah.
Man, I bet you guys got deep on that one.
It was cool, man. He talks about all that stuff like he's like a mathematics, geek. He nerds out on it like the way we nerd out on coffee, kind of, and like. Yeah. And he's into the rhythms, and like his hero is this guy at UNM, this professor that helped raise his consciousness in a lot of ways, and he speaks about a lot. And he talks about the rhythm, how he is. He talks about the rhythms of fighting, or like the cadence of speech in comedy, and how it's all like the rhythm of a jab, cross, double leg, or like whatever the rhythms are that you're trying to exact, and then double up so that you can surprise life. And gain ground. It's all about combat and gaining ground with him, it's awesome how he's like, I don't know, it goes into my thinking about an idea I had a while ago that like, it's easy for me to talk to dudes that are masters of whatever it is, because I think that it's translatable to whatever. If you're a master at cooking food, or if you're a master at basket weaving, or if you're a master at whatever, it's like, you understand the discipline that it takes to get to that level, the attention to detail, how the moments, not just the seconds, but even smaller fractions of seconds matter, how important all that is. And like, whether you're a ballerina or a fighter or a mathematician or whatever, it's all kind of the same shit. And you can find those commonalities and like how they all overlay each other,
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot, to know one thing well is to know a million. And that's so true, but it doesn't. I see a lot of that happen to a lot of people. I heard some study, and it kind of scared me about how professional athletes, when they move on, like a very low percentage of them are able to take that ability and turn it into something else. And like, so now I look at myself, and I'm like, I'm in this Caveman Coffee. I'm doing other things. I'm trying to do other thing. Like, is it just supposed to become is it just supposed to happen because I won a couple big fights? So now it's like you got to really like look into your brain and restructure things and figure out how. Okay, well, this worked for this. Now how do I apply it to this? And like nothing in life, and like I've seen that with people so many times, and with myself, I've learned like nothing just comes to you, man. You gotta ask good questions and find a way to go get it and change the way you think and the structure in your mind.
And you gotta make it smaller. Like I remember like looking at it like I remember you and Greg yelling at me one time in a circle maybe or something about. And it was about getting up. Somebody was on top of me. I was against the fence, and about standing up. And it's like you can't make it. That's what good coaching is too. I think it's like you can't make it a huge thing where you overtalk the idea. You have to simplify it. And
Right.
once you get that thing, base up, hand by the hip, and hip up, like, or whatever it is, and it's that simple thing, right? And so,
you want to get into philosophy. I love that philosophy because all life is this right here. You're strapped. You're trapped in the cage under, say, Rashad Evans, some monster, just pounding on you and just want to make you look bad. This is practice. This could be practice, real life, or anything. Now, okay, well, I'm here and I got to get to my feet. You can't just be like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm on my feet. There's no one move to get to your feet. You got to, okay, well, maybe I'm going to get my right toe in underneath
and
this
then
thigh.
as he adjusts,
Then I got to go and square myself up. And little victories. And then sometimes you get like you're almost out. You know, he got you. He wants you to turn and run away. And then you go be back down where you started from. So now you got to go back into, I call it back in the fire. You got to get back into the fire and get back to work and go back before you go forward again.
get an underhook on the other side and put your hips the other way or whatever.
Absolutely, and that's life. Is you just got to claim these small victories. And if you don't claim these small victories, and I see it in practice all the time, even high level guys where they just get cooked because they get a little bit opening, they give everything they got, and they explode, and they didn't get out, and they're cooked. And that's life, man. You can't just.
That's one of the things,
light at the end
though.
of the tunnel's not right there. You got to work your way toward it and just keep your mind open. Oh, okay, cool. I'm moving forward. Okay, I moved back, but it's okay. I'm not all the way back there. I'm moving forward, you know.
And that's one of the things that like a voice like yours is so important. I think is because, like for me, it's like it's easy for life to get so big that I'm like, I'm just not gonna get up or whatever. It's easy to, like you're on a balance beam, man, and it's easy to fall, have the teeter-totter go that way, but like sometimes I would just be like, well, I believe that he believes, like I know, like he's not full of shit, and he wouldn't steer me wrong, and like you gotta know that about whoever that is.
And now how does that turn into real life? And you look at Caveman Coffee, we're all three sitting here, and we're all getting overwhelmed at times, and this coffee's getting big, and how do we know how to run businesses and all that? But I can lean on Lacie now.
Right.
We lean on Lacie most of the time, but now
No.
here's
Pretty much
Lacie.
always.
No.
Without Lacie, this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Not true. We all give something and we all take it somewhere. And you know, we have our employees now too that we empower and try to help us out because we're all over the place. Like, you couldn't have 3 leaders of a company that are more like not at the company than we are, but you know, somehow it works out, and it's just because we do communicate really well and we do push forward. And if I can't do something, Keith can do something, or Tait can do it. One of us can do it. We can make it happen, and we all keep each other going. Like there's times where all of us are like, fuck, like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing or what are we doing, but
You know
so one of us comes in with the voice of reason. That's like, come on.
The voice of reason, there
Let's
you go.
do it.
And what's really cool for me being here with you guys right now is, like I've been at the warehouse, so you guys have been gone for the last couple. You start getting bogged down, and now I see you guys in the same room here, and it's just like, wow, now I'm seeing the big picture again. Like,
Yeah, here we are again doing this thing.
These things are.
And you don't feel alone. Like that's one of the big things for me is like I feel stronger and like more empowered, you know. And I really, this speaks to more things that we already know and that like I've known forever is like who you surround yourself with. Like that's really who you are, and like it better be like some high. Like I'm glad, man, that I'm only around. That's really all that interests me anymore is like high level, high performance people, or people that really have a desire to get there and aren't willing to listen to the excuses of their life anymore, you know? And I think it's like what you said, it's like those small victories, it's like the little battles. It's never the big battle, it's never the mountain that you gotta jump over, it's the little molehills people trip on. And you give most people a big chunk and they'll take that and they'll work it, but like the little bits, paying attention to those details, that's fucking hard.
I heard somewhere, you're the average of the 5 people that you're around the most. That said a lot.
That's good. We just recently were doing this challenge at my work with a bunch of people that were around. I can't say who, but a TED Talk challenge. And so we were watching these TED Talks. Everyone had to do a TED Talk a day, and then we would send them to each other. Like if they were good, if they were bad, we'd be like, don't watch this one. But there was one that really stood out that everyone agreed was awesome, and I can't even remember the name of it now. But basically, the gist of it was you're never gonna feel like it. Like you're never gonna feel like, oh, today's the day, I'm going to get up and do this, I'm going to, go running at 5 a.m., I'm going to go train, I'm going to start a company, whatever. You're never going to feel like that. Day's never going to come. You're going to sit around for the rest of your life waiting for that day to come, or you're going to not hit snooze and get up and take those little steps each time, and by the end of the day, like, oh shit, wow, we really took this to the house and came out with all these new products, and you know, we have a new website, we have this, and we have that, and Tait's actually opening the door on the rain when we asked. It's like crazy here in Austin. It's like this crazy rain that just suddenly comes down. So sorry, that was a side note, but yeah, you're never gonna feel like it, and if you make the conscious decision to just do it every day, I'm not gonna let myself down, and you know, people will feed off of that. Everyone around you is gonna feed off of that. We started doing this challenge recently where we had to do 10 squats and 10 push-ups. I did sit-ups. I didn't want to do a million push-ups, but we did 10 squats, 10 sit-ups a day. We kept adding them for the whole month. So by the end of October, you know, the day before we did 290 squats and sit-ups, and then we had to do 300 the next day. So it's like
that stuff you do when you're just caught on location.
Oh, you're so bored.
Right?
Yeah, you're like, I'm not going to get out of shape, but it's like you're dying. And I ended up getting a stomach flu the last 2 days, and we decided on Halloween, fuck it, we're going to do 500. So I missed the last 2 days, which was 800 total that I needed to do. So I made it up in one day and just went for it, like reps of 50, reps of 50, reps of 50. But because we were all there together, like we probably wouldn't have given up like halfway through this and been like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I've done it on myself, and like day 15, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm good. But because there were 5 of us there doing it together, we wouldn't let each other down, and we wouldn't do it. Even the days that you weren't, you know, together, you'd text each other and say like, hey, I did it. Did you do it? And it's just that power of the group and power of like pushing each other forward.
Also, that's all about having that positive self-talk and being accountable to your future self. Because if you weren't, you would have just whatever, you know, had the excuse, flu, whatever, and then you would feel guilty to this day, you know.
Yeah, you still think about it. Like,
Exactly.
why didn't I do that? God, we're giving like a motivational speech right now, guys. I don't know how this
Well,
happened, but
yeah, I'll get into that self-talk forever.
I
Like
get
I'm
pumped up
all about
listen to
that.
this podcast. We've had a lot of cold brew.
Oh, yeah.
So Keith rolls in with the secret product that we're working on that we can't really talk about yet, but
Oh, I wish we could.
it's really cool. It has to do with cold brew, and it's in a can. I will say that. So it's a single serving. Look for it coming to cavemancoffeeco.com very soon. And if you haven't seen our new website, we did just re-amp our website. It's a lot more user friendly. We are not using PayPal anymore, so you don't have to be scared of that. We can securely take your payment. You can sign up for a recurring payment and get a wonderful subscription delivered to your door each month and never even have to think about it.
Do we want to talk about the coffee for a second? I mean, is it like
I mean, we are all here.
all here?
What coffee? What do you want to talk
Well,
about?
we sell coffee.
Well, you got to talk into the microphone. Everybody always
I'm done.
says, whenever Keith's on this, they go, hey, his volume was great. And like they think I talk really loud, which I do. And they go, is Keith whispering over there? I'm like, he wants to sound sexy for you, whatever. He
Yeah.
just whispers.
That one at Undisputed, I couldn't hear Keith at all.
Yeah.
And nobody could hear anything you just said at all
Hey,
because
chocolate.
you got chocolate in your mouth and you're a foot and a half away from
Oh,
the
we sell
microphone.
chocolate too?
What?
Sugar
Man,
free?
chocolate, another CC.
Good food? Wow.
Sugar free, paleo.
The coffee,
Rob
real.
Why don't you guys tell the story about how the coffee was made?
You mean today?
Not today's coffee, but like, you know, like why Caveman Coffee? What happened?
Man, it's a different path. I was telling someone about this the other day. Long story short, or what? One of the most life-changing experiences. I mean, if you ever listen to me on the Ella show, whatever, I always talk about this moment. And Tait was just talking about it on the Shapiro story show. I was in an audition with Tait for something in Albuquerque. Every single thing I read for in Albuquerque, Tait reads for. I guess
I don't know why you guys would be in the same roles. You don't look like.
we're the only two menacing-looking guys in Albuquerque. And now, by chance, we both read for the same thing in Los Angeles. Like, what the hell?
I also love that you didn't discuss it before, and then you both just showed up there. Like,
Yeah.
hey Tait, I'm in town auditioning for this thing.
Yeah. Well, okay. After an audition, I'm sitting down, and Tait sits with me for an hour and a half. Haven't seen Tait in a while. And long story, real short, he talks to me about how's your nutrition, how you doing. Like, I'm kind of like out the door fighting right now. I got this business going on, and he's telling me about nutrition, and it was a perfect time in my life because I eat a certain way fighting, and with that, like, you know, like I had to work out twice a day, every day, not every day. People exaggerate when they say that. 5 days a week, twice a day. Once a day would be a day off, and a Sunday would be a complete day off. Anyways, just to maintain body image, like just to not get fat. I don't think I was working out for my sport anymore. Now I'm trying to open up this yoga studio, this business. I'm getting up every morning. I'm trying to do auditioning. I'm trying to do all this stuff, and I'm working out like a madman, just trying to maintain body image. My body image never was that great anyway. I was looking at an old picture of mine in a fight with somebody.
Not true.
I was like, man, I look way better in that now than I did then. And I was about ready to jump out for a fight. This is a corner picture. Anyway, Tait sat down with me for a while and talked to me about this Rob Wolf's book, The Paleo Solution, and this idea of eating a lot of fats and not eating grains and all that stuff. And I listened to it and all that. And part of it, the main thing that really made everything happen to me was he told me about this coffee. Like, I drink coffee all day. Like, I drink coffee. I thought I was a coffee geek. I went to Starbucks. I mean, geez, that's good coffee, right? And so I got this, he talking about this coffee and this way to put butter in this coconut type oil in your coffee called MCT oil. And it just sounds silly to me. But I'm listening to him. Okay, cool. So I go home and you know, you get caught up in your life. It takes me about a month, Lacie, a month to do this. Like, I order the book on Amazon. It's sitting on my table, the Rob Wolf book, and I haven't tried the coffee yet. Okay, so I get the MCT oil at a local place, and I do the butter, and I'll give this a go, and I taste it. You know, it tastes pretty good. Looking back, it was probably awful because of the coffee I was drinking. But I was driving to work that morning to teach a class, and I was at the point now with my career. I wasn't happy about what happened at the end of my career. Because I was sick. I was a zombie. I couldn't move for years. I was the Walking Dead, and I was I'm running this business now. What am I going to do? What am I going to do with my life? And I'm kind of depressed, and this is an ongoing thing. And halfway down to the yoga studio, I've told the story so many times. I just get this. I already had the coffee about 15 minutes ago, and I just get this incredible euphoria that hits me, like, boom, like one of the best feelings I ever felt in my life, and I just felt like amazing. My depression, whatever depression I had, was lifted. I was excited to go to work and do things and possibilities in my life. Like, my brain just kind of opened up. And I called Tait on the phone. It's like, Tait, what is in this coffee? Like, it's crazy. I'm putting it to going through my head. I thought I knew about nutrition, and it's just this coconut oil and this butter, and there's no drugs in it. But I feel amazing. And I got really I got really worried about, now I'm going to crash in about half an hour, and I'm going to be worse than I was.
What you typically get with a coffee, or if you get that caffeine high.
And it lasted for hours. And then that from that point on, I just became obsessed with learning more about good coffees, learning about this MCT oil. And not only that, telling everybody I cared about, you got to try this coffee. Just like what Tait did, was sat me down. Like, I'm paying that forward. I'm telling everybody else about this.
Not only obsessed with it, but you became kind of a connoisseur, kind of a specialty coffee person. Like, don't you dare make a coffee around Keith if you don't bust out your scale and the water thermometer and you're doing everything perfect, because he will come down on you. I'm just eyeballing shit.
I try. I got a long ways to go. So how the business started up, and where Lacie comes in, and I was talking about something about this yesterday, and this is a beautiful thing about Tait, is I went to this chocolate and coffee festival, like chocolate and coffee. Like, I'm into high fat, low sugar chocolate. I'm into coffee. Like, I got to go to this thing. And I meet a bunch of people, but I meet these roasters from Colombia, David Certain from Via Miriam, and they invite me to a roasting, and I'm really excited. I love their coffee and all that. And just like I'm stubborn. Like, I take a long time for things to happen. And, it probably took me about a month and a half to actually show up to the door, and I just showed up and said, hey, I heard you guys remember me, you guys roasting. I'd love to see that and learn more about your process.
How could you not remember Keith? They're so psyched. Yeah, Keith, we remember you.
Well, you know, Grumpy David, he was like, he
I don't have time for this.
Yeah. And then he warmed up real quick. Okay, so then there's a coffee, and then Lacie, you're already doing a butter truck with rolling butter with Tait.
Yeah, we did I'll talk about that briefly, but it was the month of the CrossFit Games, I believe July at the time. Was that July or September? Maybe July. I can't remember, but we decided, hey, wouldn't it be really fun if we did this, like a coffee stand or a coffee truck at our gym, and then we did all the events that are leading up to the games, and then we did the games, and yeah, let's do a food truck, it's so fun. I used to be in guerrilla marketing for many years, and did a lot of food truck events and whatnot, and didn't really know what I was getting myself into in LA, which is a very challenging place to do a food truck. But we did, and at the time, we had a bulletproof truck. We supported the Bulletproof brand, and We bought their products and we did their stuff, and we went around to various events. One of them being the Brick E-Team Classic, which is a really fun event in Los Angeles. And that's a whole other story on the E-Team, but if you don't know about it, look it up. It's great. And we did stuff at CrossFit LA, which was kind of where we all started doing this butter coffee. A really good friend of ours, Logan Gilbridge, was the one that originally saw this random blog post when we were doing the Whole Life Challenge for the first time. And all were missing our cream in our coffee, and he said, hey, why don't we try this butter? So we all started doing it. We were going to Starbucks with butter and and like freaking the people at Starbucks out, and they were doing it for us, but not with happy faces, like, hey, can you just add some coffee to this? And it was gross because it was just like butter and coconut oil and then sitting on the top of the coffee. We weren't blending it yet. We had no idea what we were doing, but we were doing it and we felt good. So that was, the first step in the whole situation. So we started doing this coffee truck. We wrapped it. We called it Rolling Butter. We had the Twitter account. We went hard on it. And it was a lot of fun. But for me personally, it was a lot of work because the truck would break down. I'm not a mechanic. I have no idea how to fix a truck or jump a truck or get anything going. The guy that we rented from the truck from was a total shyster. He stole $6,000 from us. They took the truck to fix it once and then they just never gave it back. So it was kind of a pain in the ass. But in the end, it was awesome because we got in front of a lot of people. We met a lot of people. We became these coffee people. And we got a lot of feedback about the coffee being that, hey, we love the butter coffee, but we don't really like the taste of the beans and whatnot. And it was at this exact same time that Keith called up and was like, I just met these roasters. They want to do a roast for us. It's amazing. You got to come try it. I remember Tait flew back for something in New Mexico, and Keith and Jardine and Tait went to do a cupping session, and Tait called me from the car on the way home, after having probably 20 espressos, talking a mile a minute about this coffee and these different roasts and the light roasts, and then we started
white gold,
white gold, and we started researching green beans and what it means to have a really light roast, and the health benefits of chlorogenic acid, which is something that's in a green coffee bean, which has been kind of a fad thing in the weight loss world for the last few years. But the reality behind it is that it is something that is good for hormone control and weight loss and glucose control in the bloodstream, which is important. And so we sent our beans off to get tested to see if that was true, if it retained these phytochemicals that are in coffee beans, and we got results back that were really positive. So
I was thinking about that. That's really interesting. We don't talk about that chlorogenic acid a lot because we're all paleo diet here, so we don't really care.
We don't worry about it, but there are a lot of people that are worried about it, and it's a big deal. And if you do any research on the green bean and what you're looking for, you can buy green bean pills at the store. A lot of them aren't strong enough for them to actually have this effect. You'd have to take 50 green bean pills, but if you just have natural, very minimally roasted coffee, you can actually get some of that chlorogenic acid. Another thing that we found that is just kind of in the theory phase a little bit, where we've talked to Rob Wolf a lot about it, is that lighter coffee roasts may not actually have less or more caffeine. Technically, the longer you roast something, the less caffeine it's going to have, but there is a higher level of chlorogenic acid, which may also react with the caffeine, may make it more bioavailable in your body, may give you better energy. So that may be what you're feeling when you have a lighter roast coffee, not necessarily that there's a lot more caffeine.
I name drop Rob Wolf all the time. Lacie.
You what?
I'm a huge Rob Wolf name dropper.
Yeah, that's good. I like to drop his name too. It's pretty amazing.
I'll be talking about people. Yeah, I was just texting with Rob Wolf.
I know Rob Wolf.
Talking about nutrition.
I mean, he's
so you guys were doing that, and I was doing the coffee, that thing, and that's where Tait was amazing. And I forgot who I was talking to just yesterday about that. And that's one thing that he does well, just brings two people together from different worlds, and he brought us together and formed this team, and it's all about.
It's a connector for sure. Tait's the connector.
Tait, are you done? Are you done with number 2?
The bathroom.
Listen, you guys, I had to Instagram and I had to answer some emails, and that's where it all happens. I can not go anywhere without getting bothered other than in the toilet. So that's kind of when people ask me about my taxes and writing shit off, I'm like, of course I'm going to write the toilet off too, because a lot of stuff gets done in there.
That's your office space.
And sometimes, I have to just pee. But I'll sit down. I'm just there to relax. I'm not there in any hurry. I'm a grown adult. I do what I want.
When you write off the office space, you just measure out the bathroom area of your house.
I don't know what you guys were talking about, but just here.
We were getting nerdy.
I call her Jody Jardine. I don't know, but Jody Escobar is here and is putting her ass on leather right now. she's gonna have a seat and tell us a little bit. What we'd heard is that I heard a rumor. I don't know. I didn't hear it out of anybody's mouth, but I read it on the internet that she was number 5 in the world.
Oh, I haven't told anybody that yet.
That's what I heard.
I haven't been bragging about
Tate
it.
posted it
I
yesterday,
heard that
so
about
it's
her.
out there.
Oh,
I
and
haven't
maybe I
told
posted a
everybody.
picture of it too. I guess so. You know, somebody I just love dearly.
Hey, so here's an interesting story, Tate.
Really?
Let's talk about that story we were talking
Who's
about.
talking over me right now. But
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even know what that was. I just got tie kicked by fucking Keith. Can't believe that.
So
You know, chocolate.
we got hit up on email the other
Okay,
day.
I'm gonna pull up the email. I sent it to you, didn't I?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm sorry.
But whatever, it's just a manager, you know, like that girl. I forget her name, but she
And if
was-
you're a manager out there, you guys know how you are anyway, okay? Managers, agents, promoters, we know about you motherfuckers.
so nothing about her. She was really cool and respectful, and like I got a great feeling of her as a fighter from your fight with this girl. And we got hit up by this girl that Jody fought 2 fights ago, wanting Caveman to sponsor her. And it's kind of, oh really? That's, what's her name?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You don't remember 2 fights ago, because I had that trouble. I can't really remember
I feel like
breakfast.
you guys are prodding that situation just a little.
I don't know, I'm just trying to help.
Some shit talking.
Not shit talking.
I don't know. What fight? 2 fights
2
ago.
fights
So
ago.
comfortable.
I've been really busy, actively fighting often. So 2 fights ago would have been
Well, good thing
Invicta
that
8.
Invicta 8.
8.
Jody's sitting down right now.
10 is the next one,
Yes, so it was 8 because I fought 8 and 9.
because that's how you do.
It is.
Yeah.
It is how I do.
It's like Chris Liebman did that, right? He had like 3 fights in a row, didn't he? There's not a lot of fighters in the world that do that, that take back-to-back fights like that.
Jody
So
was
you're
gonna,
part of a small group.
I
I
don't want
couldn't say no. I couldn't.
I
Hey.
love that.
Jody. We got the call from Jody was offered a fight in January, New Year's. Jody was dying to go do it. She got her cast cut off to go get re-looked at. To see.
Just in case the break had healed itself miraculously in 2 days.
MCT.
I don't know.
MCT.
Yes.
MCT cures everything, Jody.
This is true. MCD does. Like, you should see my x-rays.
for Invicta again? Different thing you can't say.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we really can't say this one, but it was a great.
That only leaves one organization.
Yeah.
There's only one
Who else
organization
has
that's like,
January
that's
1st
like,
fight?
hey, don't fucking say it.
No, it was so okay.
I love it.
So anyway, MCT oil.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Rub it on everything. It works.
you know, it brings up a good point about sponsorship. We get hit up a lot, and like, and it really, like, all the athletes that are out there that are trying to do whatever, and all that, and in all these different sports, like, we're in I don't know, since the advent of this company, like, I feel like we've been in a really blessed spot. And I feel like as like an ex-athlete in that regard too, that it's really a special thing to be able to help people that are coming down a road that I've been down, and I think it's really cool, man, and it's been really neat to be on that path. And that being said, it's like, you know, people look at us and they go, oh man, like, you know, there a lot of these guys that post up about us or whatever, and they think, wow, fucking Caveman Coffee, they got a lot of money, and it's like,
John Jones.
I wish we did, yeah. John Jones, how do you get Tim Kennedy on there? What Carlos Condit did what? And that's just love. We got a lot of love, which is way better than money if you fucking dummies don't know that already. And it's like I got so much admiration and care for all those people, and for people that are just all out there in the struggle like that, because there's so much that goes on, and everybody's telling you this and that, and you don't know who to listen to, and I get a lot of emails, you know, and all of us do, I'm sure, about sponsoring people. We really try to support and give whatever we can to athletes we want, and give our knowledge and what we've done, but we don't have anything really to go out and support in those kinds of ways. And the people that we're really after are people that are down, because like I don't think any of us started this and we're like, oh, we want to have a business like that we want to go towards. It's like been Caveman Coffee and that whole pirate life movement has been more of that. It's been more of like, I want a movement. I don't want a business. I want people, like, I don't want a guy, like, I don't want Vince McMahon to be like, yeah, Caveman Coffee, because we give him money for that. Like, if he wants that, like I want it to be because it's touched his life, it's changed his life, and his grandma doesn't have diabetes anymore, and fucking his nephew is recovering from a head injury better because of MCT in his life or whatever. Like that's the kind of shit that we want to make a fucking impact. And so if you are one of those managers or a douchebag agent or whatever, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say go fuck yourself. In as much as that, like, I hope that if you're cool, you can hear that, and if you can't, then it filters out the douchebags. Because the truth is like there's a lot of people that are out there just trying to scrape money off of people for this and that, and it's like those people don't want anything except cancer in life. And like if you do want something like more than that, and you want to be a part of something greater, man, make that in your community and reach out to us. Like I'm happy, I'd love to talk about it, man. But like what the world needs is a change. It doesn't need another person trying to be a parasite here or there, but it's like it needs people that actively want to raise up everybody around them. And if you see somebody with a Caveman Coffee shirt on or whatever, like that's who that person is. You already know about them. And that's why we're careful about who we do send stuff to, because I want it to be informed. I don't want it to be in you know, and I don't know. I'm speaking as a third of this deal or whatever, but like I feel like that's what everybody in the room feels like, you know.
Absolutely. I'll say it short, like you're very loquacious. When people ask, so you're selling coffee now? You're in the coffee business. You're selling coffee now? Like, well,
Kind of.
yeah, I guess I do sell coffee, but it's much more than that. We sell coffee beans in a bag, yes, but it's a lifestyle and movement, just being a part of something bigger. And like I didn't really get to when we were talking about when I drank the coffee. It was a crush to get me in this whole weight of eating better, higher fat, more nutrient dense foods and low grains and low sugar and all that, and just spreading that word. And like you said, you're no other way can you really affect the people. Can you and I affect people's lives as much as that? I think getting people to think more about their nutrition and healthy lifestyle that lasts for less. How are you going to be as an old person? Like how, not even an old person, like 10 years from now, how are you going to be? Are you going to, and just start thinking about that. Like there's no reason why we have to degrade the way we do.
Well, and just in talking about that and the lifestyle behind it, you know, we were sitting around at a coffee shop in Los Angeles. I remember Keith drove up in a grain Pontiac, maybe it was, that they gave him because that's what fit him at the rental car place. The guy was psyched to give him, but anyways, we talked about that.
Real quick,
This happens all the time.
I tried to park like a block away so Tait wouldn't see me. I went to the rental car place, and it's really cool being a fighter. Like people recognize you all the time. That's why I never want to ever like turn down autographs or be mean when somebody means to, because so many times it comes in your favor, right? Well, sometimes like, hey man, let me upgrade your car. Okay, cool, man. Thank you. What do we got? We got a Mustang. You want a Mustang? Sure. Now I got this lime green Mustang. I was
Hot lime green Mustang. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're Ken Shamrock.
I did park a block away, and I walked over to meet them. Hey, that was our first meeting about Caveman.
Yeah, that was our meeting.
Yeah. I heard it.
But in that meeting, we came up with something else.
What was the name of that coffee shop?
Alfred's.
Yeah.
Alfred's is a great little place on Little
It's a
Melrose.
great place. Little Melrose, yeah, in Hollywood. Wicked coffee shop. Great people in there, too.
No parking, so figure it out. But it is amazing. I saw Steven Tyler there once. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, he rolled by with scarves on in a very Steven Tyler way.
Of course he did.
Yeah, it was great. Anyways, but at that meeting, at our first like caveman meeting there in LA, we also came up with this idea of pirate life. And I think we were talking about the lifestyle, we're talking about the brand, and we really want to talk about that. A lot of people are confused about it. What is pirate life? Why are you hashtagging that? It's a coffee business. But just, you know, playing into that lifestyle. You know, you don't necessarily need to believe what you are taught by, you know, certain food guide pyramids and things like that. But you can do your research in your own life and figure out what really works and what the facts are and what information is out there, because there's a lot of it. We live in an age where information is readily available. It's not just what's put in front of us in a TV or a propaganda machine. You can actually go out and seek your own information and read books yourself and find out what really works. And that's kind of what pirate life is about. And it's us seeking what we can do every day to live that lifestyle that is clean and healthy and really promoting a different environment than what we are living in today, and starting that movement. So you can kind of see more about that on our blog, which is now available on cavemancoffeeco.com. But if you know anyone's confused about that, or why we do that. That's why, and that's what the lifestyle is about. The two cavemen themselves are trying to open an MCT bottle right now. It's very entertaining because neither of them can actually put their fingers in the pull tab, which isn't my problem, but my finger's too weak for it, so I have to use a knife to get it open. If you guys have that problem, you just get a butter knife and stick it through there. Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge, but the good part about these new bottles is that they are pretty spill proof, and we can ship them to you easily, a lot lighter, and you can pack them and take them with you wherever you want to go. Jody? No, Jody's cleaning off the microphone, taking the fuzzies off.
We did pack the box full of coffee on the way.
Yeah, they brought this glorious box of coffee.
It was
MCT.
pretty awesome. It packed really well.
It made it. We shipped a box to the UK last week. That is the sound of a caveman crew getting blended, if you weren't sure. This is how you live the pirate life in a hotel room. You bring a Firling French press, throw the cold brew in it, drop some MCT, and you have hand blender to make a beautiful blended MCT.
Hey, let's talk business right now. Do we want to bring the Freeling presses back?
Yeah, I think we do.
Big old 32 ounces, so
We
people
do
throw them in
get
the bag, beat them up.
requests about them. They are amazing. I travel with them. They do.
Wish I had.
I think you've had a few, right? No?
Should we talk about how where the Freeling? No. Should we talk about where
Yeah,
they
let's
come
talk
from?
about where we found out about these Freeling.
I borrowed one from a hotel.
May or may not borrowed several, and then gave Keith and I gifts from the W. Thank you, W. Boston.
There's
in
enough.
case
That's
anybody
a
wanted to call
felony.
us.
There was enough of them.
It was a felony, he said. But they are amazing, and we do sell them on our website occasionally. Keep an eye out for them. I don't know when this podcast is going to go up, but we do have some really cool holiday specials coming up. We will have some Black Friday deals as well as Cyber Monday. Some lovely gift bags. So if you want to send someone a Christmas gift, Hanukkah gift, Kwanzaa gift, whatever you want, pagan ritual gift, order it. It's black and gold, so it looks lovely for all occasions. Tate's now pouring the MCT and cold brew combo. If you haven't tried this, it is super easy and delicious. Are you just pouring it for you, or are you going to share that with us?
This is what makes us like anybody. Like, you got to try this once in your lives. Like, you got to try our cold brew. We'll post a picture up. It sounds like I'm getting a little douchey businessy, but I'm just serious. We'll post a picture of our cold brew and our MCT together. It looks beautiful. And this thing, there's nobody else doing this in the world, putting these two things together. This cold brew concentrate, single estate cold brew, best cold brew I've ever tasted.
What's the difference with single estate and single origin?
Single origin just comes from an area. It could be a bunch of different farms put together. You may have good beans and bad beans, and not only that, even though you could be rainforest certified like we are, all farms, but you never maybe got slave labor from one farm and maybe not on the other, but all of our farm comes from one estate. I mean, all of our beans, not now, we're expanding, but all of our white gold and black label beans come
All our
from,
Colombian stuff.
all our Colombian stuff comes from one estate, and we know exactly the process, and we publicize. We have no problem talking about the process that it's gone through from beginning, how it's picked, to the end. And we know how the workers are treated, and we know the effect on the rainforest and everything. So being single estate, like what you talk about, Tait, is all about not only getting higher quality and getting being sure of your quality, but it's also voting with your money. You're getting a sustainable product, and that's what we did. Oh my God, we'll talk about with MCT. Like, we've been killing ourselves as a group, and I'm really proud of us three because the more you research about palm oil, MCT oil. MCT oil is a magical thing. There's only a fat, very rare in nature. You can only find it in a couple places. Palm oil, palm kernels, coconut kernels, and various milks in small amounts. But palm, you look at palm oil production, it's raping rainforests, destroying habitats, and all that. And it's really like there's whole websites dedicated to like the evils of palm oil. So there's something that came out called RSPO that says, okay, well, now we're sustainable palm oil production. So now we're looking like crazy all to find this quality MCT oil, but it's also RSPO. So then after researching that a little bit more, RSPO is incredibly faulty. Like, you can see videos on the internet about like people hauling out dying orangutans in their arms, and
You can basically pay to get the RSPO
Yeah.
certification, so it's not necessarily something that is governed or looked at, but people buy into it. So if you're a company that buys into it so that you look like you're more sustainable, then you can be seen as sustainable even though you're not.
When you just say, like, I think I forgot the date, just by some date, like, and I don't know, I'm going to guess, like, 2018 or something, like you plan to be compliant, you don't have to be compliant now. So, okay, so we're all out of the R's, all the palm oil business. So now we're going into, okay, so now we're looking all over just still the same quality of MCT oil, but 100% coconut based.
Right. And if you're RSP, I mean, like,
Yeah, whatever.
people are doing what they can do. That's like, there's not, you're kind of held to a standard of your own conscience and ethics, I think. It's not like there's a standard that's held in the world. It's like, that's a thing that we made up, like, it's like anything else. It's like, there's a lot of guys that are like world champions in jiu-jitsu. And they started like the, Tempe World Championship Jiu-Jitsu. And then they go and 4 guys go there and grapple for the title. And then you get to say you're a world champion. It's like RSPO's kind of like that. It's like, yeah, it's legit in a way. And then also you got to take it in context. And like when we found that out, we're just like, we just want to make sure that we're at the highest range of quality that we can be at. And we want to have the lowest footprint that we can have. And so that's kind of like, even though it's like the highest standard that there is of that, like it's not enough, man. It's not enough after you know more. And the more you dig in, it's like we just try to learn as we go. And maybe we'll find out more stuff next month that will make us reach higher.
It's crazy things you think about once you start owning a business like this. I don't want to be responsible for killing orangutans. You really start thinking about these things. I don't want to be responsible for slave labor in Malaysia. It's crazy how.
Yeah, we want to support good things. And just for the record, Keith is the researcher behind all of this and did an amazing job sourcing all of our stuff.
And you wouldn't believe how many people he had to go through. Like, it's crazy the amount of interactions with people that you have to have internationally to find out what's what. And then everybody's trying to keep information from you too. Like, they're trying to sell you and then not give you all the information, which is kind of wild. And then also I'm tripping out and I'm having a huge fan moment right now. It's like, I remember like when I used to train a lot and you'd get a black eye or something, and everybody in life, and like in regular life, you don't really know regular people very much when you're training a lot, when you're a fighter. And then, people that are like, oh my God, how'd you get a black eye? They act like you got amputated or something. And it's just like, I don't know. Oh, do I have one? I don't know. Like, or whatever, like, and it's like, you don't really notice that shit a whole lot. But like right now I look over and Jody's sitting next to me and she's got a cast on her arm, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, she's got a cast on her arm because she broke her fucking hand on somebody's head, on another human's head, doing a sport that she makes a living at. Like, that is fucking crazy cool.
And that was the first round of a fight that she won and finished.
So good.
So she broke her hand.
She's such a braggart too, She just sits here like.
She broke her hand in a fight in the first round. Like, I'm a horrible coach. I can't pick out the moment or whenever. I didn't even know her hand was broken until afterwards. She said it hurt. Anyways, so her hand hurt, and then she's like, oh, something happened there. I don't know. Like, it's not feeling right. So maybe I'll go to the body because the body's soft.
Softer, yeah. It'll be forgiving.
So she goes to the body and feels it in her gut, and she tremors, and like, there's a problem. That was in the first round, and she continued to fight the whole fight. Didn't tell the corner anything, and I think he did still throw a couple rights, even though I was so frustrated for you not throwing those rights.
I think I might have. That's exactly right. I think I don't know. Maybe I should have said something, but the
mental game.
The fact was I didn't know how it would affect me either, because I was like, no, it's probably just hurt. It's probably not broken. No big deal. And then I can hear my corner calling for the right hand, and I'm just like, yep, it's definitely there, but this hurts. My hand hurts. So it was frustrating for everybody, because I think had I not broke my hand, I would have ended that fight.
It must have hurt a lot, like for you to be like conscious to that degree of it. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, because you usually don't, you know how it is. You don't feel a lot, when you're there in the moment like that, and unless it's a really big injury, then you kind of don't get set back. Or I know that I haven't, I have a black eye, or your nose is bleeding, or whatever, all that stuff, whatever, you deal with it later. But
or if you're knocked out, you might even think you're not, like, I'm good, let's keep going.
Kind of like that too. That also happened recently. It wasn't the body kick though. It was definitely a
I don't
head
like
kick.
that. I don't
It was
like that.
definitely a head
Once
kick.
she got kicked in the body, she went down like anyway.
No. I did not. I did not go down from a body shot. It was definitely on the
Well,
button.
So
Anyway.
did you know you broke your hand, or were you like it just hurts a lot, or you're just like, no, I don't feel like throwing it? Like, what was the conversation in your head like?
Self-talk is pretty funny during that. I thought, well, that doesn't feel right, and then I hit her in the head again, and I was like, no, that really doesn't feel right. So like he said, I told myself, well, we'll give it a test and hit her in the body and see if it still hurts, and I went to load up and hit her in the body with a straight right, and it kind of zinged, to my elbow a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and lay off the right hand. I don't know if it's broken or not, but that definitely hurt, and I just try to go left hand heavy and big kicks that I was kicking at the air half of the time because my range was off. Anyway, I didn't know that it was broken. In my head, I thought maybe it was just really swollen after, but with a slight medical background I do have, I once I took the glove off, I knew that chances were it was broken.
No, I say with my slight medical background a lot, and it's completely in jest. But you actually have a medical background. Like you're a paramedic with the fire department in Albuquerque, and like you're the go-to person for the SWAT team for the Albuquerque police and all that. And what else?
Yeah, I work really closely with the New Mexico State Police TAC team, and yeah, whatever. Like it's cool. There's a lot of guys that
So hard to get an answer out of you. You know what I mean?
She just got signed up to rappel out of helicopters.
To rappel out of helicopters.
Woo! I think it's a really good idea. These guys are going on these missions in rural New Mexico, and it's really hard for them to get care. So if one of the guys,
Sick.
or bad guy or good guy, goes down, I will be able to get to them quicker and put hands on them before, and render care until we get a ground unit or get them, a PHI, lifeguard. Anyway, I think it's a great idea, and I like the idea of being super aggressive with medicine.
So cool. That's neat, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right on. Who'd have thought, You just keep walking and you're like, oh, and then this came up and I said yes, and then I'm doing this. So that the fight you're talking about, that was Invicta 9, right?
Yes, that was my last fight. Invicta 9.
So you can see the body shot that makes Jody grimace during that fight.
Yeah, and then, that's what I don't know what the right answer is to that, and maybe I should have said something because my corner was calling for that right hand, and I could see it, and it was really apparent that it was wide open, and like that's a hard situation. The fight game is a lot of
You're
mental.
That weapon doesn't exist anymore. That's you guys are gonna have to think different. Think outside the box.
That's what I told
And
you.
that's what Keith was like, well, you did really good, and I've been working on some stuff and really cleaning up my hands and sitting down on my power. Like, I haven't hit anybody as hard as I can, and I will. It just hasn't been there yet. And Keith was like, yeah, you did really good, but you kind of resorted back to the old ways of moving around. And I was like, yeah, because my hand was broken, guy. Like,
It didn't go quite like that.
pretty much.
I feel like we're gonna get in the middle of a quarrel that we don't need to. So when you go in the future, will you will Mr. Winklejohn or Brendan or whoever's rapping you, like will they make an allowance for that and go, okay, she's now, because there's not a lot of athletes that do that hit with enough power that they're going to break their skeletal system. There's like you, Cub Swanson, a little bit. Like there's only a few guys that are a few humans that hit hard enough to break their fucking bones in their goddamn hands.
We think of Tait. That was the first thing I told Jody. It's like, hey, I never broke my hand.
Yeah, I mean that's like, I mean you think about
good for you.
when people talk about per capita or pound for pound or whatever, it's like to hit somebody hard enough that you break the skeleton of your own body is crazy. So, what kind of precautions does an athlete then take for the next time to go, okay, I need more padding in this hand, or I need a different wrap, or what?
That's funny that you mentioned that because I was kind of feeling sorry for myself, like, oh, I'm going to be out for so long and, real nervous, and you get the post-fight blues and all that, and now I have this broken hand, and I just happened to sit down and talk to Cub Swanson about my broken hand. Well, he informed me that I think it was something like he has 8 or 9 breaks in his hands, and he won a fight with 2 broken hands. And so I was like, I'm really not that cool anymore, like this guy is. And then I was like, is it ever going to be the same? And he was like, dude, you're going to be fine. Like, it's going to be stronger than ever. And you take certain precautions. I'm excited to see my left hand develop a little bit more, but it'll be fine. You know, we'll throw an extra pad on there and hit harder than before.
So crazy. All I would be thinking if I was an opponent is like, that bitch breaks her own hands on my face. Like, I would just be so nervous about getting hit by you. That's awesome.
Well, I think we got a party to go to, right?
This Swanson. Yeah. I don't know what else.
I think we should just adjourn. Like, we need to do this.
I feel like I'm gonna
rambled a
hit
lot.
us up on Twitter all the time about when.
Okay, so that's a good thing. Like, Keith is new to Instagram, so if you guys could find him, he's Keith Jardine 205 or on Instagram and on Twitter both. It's the same thing. And Jody, you're just at Jody Escabel, and that's
On both.
JODIE
Not like they wrote it on her drink there.
UIBEL. Lacie is at L Mackey 31, and so LMACKEY 31. You can find Caveman Coffee at Caveman Coffee Co. And that's on Twitter and Instagram both. I'm of course at taitimusmaximus, and that's it. And we're looking to go and do another follow up on this podcast. I guess later today with we're gonna run into Dolce and I think Brian Stan is gonna see us later, and Jason Ellis and Cub and Isaac and.
Dolce did save my last weight cut, so thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, Mike Dolce.
We'll have to tell that story later.
In the U-Haul.
So, anyways, thanks a lot. That's it, and we'll talk to y'all soon.